Hello ladies and gentlemen out there watching on YouTube, and welcome to race number 4 of Season 10 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I am Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the Mountain Dew 400 here at Darlington Raceway as we are getting set for 40 laps of racing at the Lady in Black, the track too tough to tame. But before we get into everything, a quick recap. You guys seen the points recap at the beginning of the video. However, a quick recap of the top 10 heading into the race today. We have a tie for the points lead currently between rookie sensation Daniel DK and James Qualls. Then 20 points back in third in points is Jay Jefferson, our winner from Rockingham. 40 back is Michael Norman. 90 back, Carson Gum and William Brock. 100 points back is Rafael LeDuc. 135 back, Kyle Matthews. 145 back, Ryan Acosta, and 150 points back is Matt McIntyre. So now let's take a look at the top 10 in the starting lineup for today's action. Dylan Jacobs scoring his first pole of the season, and starting next to him is going to be Seth Cole. Row 2, we have the co-points leader Daniel DK along with Caleb Kilburn. Row 3, we have Jordan Forbes and co-points leader James Qualls. Row 4, Mitchell Collins and Chris Dollarton. And then row 5 is Michael Norman and Carson Gum. Let's get the command to fire engines for the Mountain Dew 400 at Darlington.
Drivers, start your engines!
All 40 drivers now on the racetrack for the pace lap around here. And this is an interesting moment for Dylan Jacobs, because after the first 2 races, Jacobs was on the verge of not being able to qualify for races to come, even though we got one more race left before we go and revert to the top 30 in points after race 5. But regardless, Dylan Jacobs wants to keep his momentum going as he got his first top 5 finish of second place, I believe, back at Rockingham on Wednesday, but already getting those valuable 5 bonus points for qualifying on the pole as the pace car has pulled into pit road. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be ready for some beating and banging, possibly. We shall see. And ladies and gentlemen, boogity boogity boogity, let's go racing. Dylan Jacobs going to barely lead lap number 1, as now here comes Daniel DK with a run to the inside. Now Daniel DK, I hate to keep talking about him, but I just can't get over the fact how impressive he's been so far in the first 3 races. Got top 5 finishes in the first 2 events of the season, Daytona and North Wilkesboro. Had a less than stellar top 15 finish at Rockingham, and currently tied for the points lead heading into this race with legendary James Qualls. And DK looking to go for his first career Marvel Studios Cup Series win, and what a way he could do it at probably the toughest track on the schedule. But now he's going to fall back for now as Jordan Forbes now has the top spot on the racetrack. Now you could argue Jordan Forbes was the dominant car back at Rockingham, but unfortunately, it just did not go his way, as pit strategy and a timely caution is what cost him. But now Mitchell Collins has the race lead. Now Mitchell Collins, he's desperate to get as many points as possible because he currently sits 40th in points, second lowest of the drivers who have qualified for every race this season. The lowest being Lauren Marino in the 38 car, 46th in points. But she did not qualify for this race, so currently, as it would stand, Mitchell Collins is the lowest driver that's made every race this season. While he led that lap, Michael Norman had the lead, but now Melissa Alexander has the spot. I've noticed the lead has shuffled every single lap since the drop of the green flag. And Melissa Alexander currently has the spot, but here comes Carson Gum. Carson Gum, who rebounded and got a good finish back at Rockingham after a less than stellar performance at North Wilkesboro, moved into 5th in the point standings. Carson Gum kind of picking up where he left off at the end of Season 9 by playing the consistency route, even though, like I said, a less than stellar run at North Wilkesboro, but a great run at Rockingham is what shot him back into the top 5. And then right behind him currently are DRI teammates, Deaver Racing Incorporated, Cole Deaver and William Brock. Now, Cole Deaver's been the talk of the garage ever since Rockingham, when he caused one of the most controversial accidents in the history of this series, when he was running second behind James Qualls during a long green flag run at Rockingham, shoved him and leaned on him in the right rear into turn 1 and dumped him. But he ended up taking himself out of the equation as well, so a lot of buzz right now over that 3 car of Cole Deaver, as he's now about to be passed by his teammate, William Brock. And William Brock, like I said, tied for 5th in points, was 90 points behind Daniel DK heading into this race, currently now running in 2nd, but here comes Patrick Smith with a run to the inside. Patrick Smith looking to also gain as many points as possible so he can try and get back into the top 30 in points, so that way after our 5th race coming up on Monday, which is going to be at Atlanta, he wants to be able to lock himself a spot in that race afterwards. But how about Hannah Klein? Every driver that's been go or go home this season has made a race this season, but only 2 have yet to score points, and one of them being Hannah Klein in the 11, and now she's about to get the lead. And then the other one is Jordan Lopez, and I have no idea where he is on the racetrack. As we are now a quarter of the way through this race here at Darlington, and the lead just continues to shuffle every which way but loose here, as Hannah Klein has the top spot for now, but Jonathan Zorline right behind, and the 00 of Zorline comes in 16th in points. Didn't really set the world afire back at Rockingham, but he's maintaining himself fairly well in the top 30 in points, and he wants to guarantee starting spots after Atlanta on Monday. Couple of cars back here, one of the 2 points leaders, James Qualls, who's had a spectacular start to the season, although you could argue he probably should have won Rockingham back on Wednesday had he not been spun out by Cole Deaver, but he managed to rally his way back and get another top 10, and he's so far the only driver here in Season 10 that has scored a top 10 in all of the races heading in. Can he continue this streak is the question, and can he surpass the streak by getting a win tonight? Currently running in 4th, having his best run going since that Rockingham spin. Right now in that 4th spot, it's like a train up here at the front. And I noticed a few cars back is the defending series champion Scott Groverston. Groverston's not had a very good start to the season. He comes in 29th in points, only 5 points ahead of that 30th spot in the point standings, and he definitely wants to make sure he can guarantee himself a starting spot after Atlanta. If he can get a couple really good runs starting here tonight, he could not only keep himself in the top 30 in points, but get into possibly the top 10 if things go his way, of course. James Qualls feels it's go time as he's now up to 2nd, as Hannah Klein, ever since taking the lead from the 60 of Carson Gum, she's just kind of been in another galaxy, even though she doesn't have a big lead, very slim lead, but maintaining herself. And now Qualls, I think he kind of got a little tight in 1 and 2. And here comes Seth Cole with a run to the inside to get to second. And Seth Cole's another guy who's not really had the best start. Comes in 19th in points, only 35 points ahead of 30th. It's very close from around 17th in points back to 31st. It's only separated by roughly 45 points, which is just a few spots on the racetrack, give or take. And Seth Cole wants to try and hold steady in the top 30. Carson Gum right behind, and Carson Gum, who led a few laps earlier, he's trying to reel his way back into the picture. And ironically, the driver that passed him is up ahead, Hannah Klein, in the 11. And so far, Hannah Klein has led the most laps in this race, and we're not even halfway through just yet. But Hannah Klein holding steady up here at the front. But Carson Gum now clears Seth Cole for second, now has his sights set on trying to get the lead back. But a couple other contenders starting to inch their way closer to the mix. Cody Lamas, who made the Daytona 500, has not made a start since until tonight. All pit stops. Oh, this is interesting. They're pitting on lap 19, going into lap 20, so there's a chance we could see fuel mileage come into play if we stay clean and green. And actually, a couple other cars pitted before that, but Carson Gum now has the race lead for now. The last thing that those cars that are in pit road now want is a caution. Otherwise, it could really, really mess up the running order. And now here comes Carson Gum leading the second big group of cars into pit road. Going to keep an eye on all this, and everybody gave each other plenty of room to slow down to come out of the pits, so good sportsman move on the part of those drivers. Looks like Hannah Klein's going to be the first out of pit road of this first major group of cars. And Seth Cole's stuck in his pit stall for a long time. He's going to lose a ton of spots. Same with Daniel DK in the 66. Seth finally, and both he and DK finally get out of the pits, so those slow stops are going to cost them massively. Seth Cole, who was in the top 3 just a little bit ago, just could not make anything work for the life of him, as he was just stuck on pit road. James Qualls is also stuck. Now he's finally pulling away, as we're still clean and green here at Darlington. And it looks like Hannah Klein is going to cycle back around with the race lead. So we will do a full field rundown momentarily once we wait for everything to cycle back around. And officially, Hannah Klein does have the race lead. So now, full field rundown time, as we're now past the halfway point of the Mountain Dew 400. Let's take a look at how the field looks. Hannah Klein currently is your leader. Second is Cody Lamas. Third is Michael Norman. Fourth, Carson Gum. Fifth, Matt McIntyre. Sixth is Alyssa Drayson. Seventh, Jessica Shelton. Eighth, Dylan Poteet. Ninth, Jonathan Zorling. 10th, Melissa Alexander. 11th is Caleb Kilburn. 12th, Scott Groverston. 13th is Daniel Voiles. 14th, Lisa Nelson. 15th, Joey Parkhill. 16th, Jordan Lopez. 17th, Daniel Bouchard. 18th, Jesse Turner. 19th, Laney Marino. 20th is Charles Belding. 21st, Zachary Fitzwater. 22nd, Jay Jefferson. 23rd, Patrick Smith. 24th, Kyle Matthews. 25th, Cole Deaver. 26th is Riley Henry. Where is 27th at? There he is. 27th, Ryan Acosta. 28th, Henry Sanford. 29th, Jordan Forbes. 30th, Rafael Leduc. 31st, Quentin Moore. 32nd is Chris Dollerton. 33rd, Seth Cole. 34th, Daniel DK. and then 35th, James Qualls. And then currently the bottom 5 would be William Brock, Dylan Young, Mitchell Collins, Keith Miller Jr., and Dylan Jacobs. Back up here at the front, the lead has changed to Cody Lamas as the major contenders in the top 6 caught the 11 of Hannah Klein, so now it's become a 6-car battle for the lead. Less than 15 to go here at Darlington for the Mountain Dew 400. Just imagine how the racing will be when we come here towards the end of the season for the Southern 500. That will be something. But Cody Lama is trying to go for his first win in quite some time. It has been since Season 8 since Cody Lamas has picked up a win in the Marvel Studios Cup Series. But right now he's got a massive chip on his shoulder as he's trying to not only win, but to get into the top 30 in points to make sure he can qualify for races going forward. But right now, Matt McIntyre breathing down his neck as that 14 car had a really good run back at Rockingham on Wednesday, moved into the top 10 in points into 10th. And actually, ironically, 3 of the top 5, McIntyre, Drayson, and Gum, were 3 of the championship contenders at the end of Season 9. They're up here into the mix now, and it's a 4-car train from Lamas, McIntyre, Drayson, and Gum right now. Hannah Klein slowly trying to catch back up. Meanwhile, Michael Norman kind of lagging back a little bit. I don't know if he's just slower or he just is buying his time, but if he's slower, then he's going to be out of the hunt unless something drastic happens. But so far we've been clean and green here at Darlington, which is not usual. Usually we get at least 1 caution during a race like this, but regardless, we've been clean and green the whole way through, which is kind of impressive as it's now 11 laps to go. Cody Lama's still holding steady up here at the front, but Matt McIntyre's starting to get a little frustrated as he is trying and trying to find a way around that 48 car. Quite a few cars up here, and drivers are starting to get a little frustrated as well. Anyways, we got a second group of cars currently led by Jonathan Zorline, and it goes all the way back to 12th place in Dylan Poteet. So it's like we got a group of 5 up front, Michael Norman in the middle, and then a group of 6 right here. And then we got the massive group from 13th on back currently being led by Daniel Bouchard. Daniel Bouchard, who had another fantastic finish back at Rockingham and moved him up to 21st in points, but he is nowhere near being safe from falling out of the top 30. He's only 25 points ahead, or actually 30 points ahead of that 30th spot in the standings. So he's just trying to get points in hopes that he can maintain himself. Let's get back up here at the front. The top 5 remains unchanged as time is running out for these drivers as we're cutting ready to come to 7 laps to go. Lama's still hanging on. Matt McIntyre really starting to get impatient as he's trying to figure out what is it he's going to have to do to try and pass that 48. He's going to have to hope that the 48 slips up, kind of like what he about did right there in the middle of 1 and 2, and then take advantage of it. Or just make a daring move heading into a corner and then see what happens. But so far, nobody up here in the top 4 is doing that. Maybe they're just buying their time and wait for the right moment to go for a move, as it's now 6 laps to go, but the longer they wait, the tougher it is going to be to make that move happen. Lama's still hanging steady up here at the front. Keeping an eye out for anything happening on the racetrack as we're going along, and so far everything's still clean and green. 5 laps to go here in the Mountain Dew 400. Cody Lama's just trying to hold off everybody behind him in hopes of getting his first win in a long time. But Matt McIntyre wants to not only continue his momentum in the point standings, but get that win. Same goes for Alyssa Drayson and Carson Gum. Some shuffling going on, or not shuffling, but some attempts of moves are starting to happen. 4 laps to go as actually Matt McIntyre lost a little bit of ground to the 48, so maybe Matt was thinking about making a move and it just didn't quite work, but luckily on the straightaways, the draft definitely helps you suck back up to the back bumper of the car in front of you, and McIntyre's slowly catching back up. But 3 laps to go now here at Darlington, and Llama's still just trying to do all he can to hold off and block everybody in his way. McIntyre trying to run a lower line, seeing if he could have made a move, but he doesn't make it happen yet. Oh, but pit stops! Oh, I almost forgot about pit stops. Some guys will not be able to make it on fuel. Llamas and Drayson, heartbreak for the both of them as they had to come to pit road. 2 laps to go for Matt McIntyre. But does he have enough fuel to make it to the end? That's the question. Is he going to have to come in, or is he going to try and stretch out his fuel tank to the very end to get the win? I'm going to be watching throughout the field here to see if anybody's going to come in. Doesn't look like it. A lot of drivers are going to attempt to stay out till the end as the white flag is out for Matt McIntyre. I almost forgot about the possibility of a second pit stop towards the end of the race, because remember, some cars pit on laps 18 and 19, and I thought they were going to be a bit short, and I guess they were. We're coming through 3 and 4 for the final time. Checkered flag is about ready to wave for a guy with all the momentum in the world. Matt McIntyre is going to win the Mountain Dew 400 at Darlington. A miracle for that 14 team. He was getting frustrated beyond belief, trying to figure out what did he have to do to get past the 48 of Llamas. Llamas didn't have enough gas to make it to the end and had to come to pit road. And luckily for the 14, he had enough gas, and he comes through with the W. I believe this is his first career win at the Lady in Black, so that's another accomplishment added to the already impressive legacy of Matt McIntyre. But let's look at the rest of the results. Carson Gum, another great finish, so this could... I don't know if it will put him to the points lead, but I think it will put him very close to it as he gets a second place finish here today at Darlington. Hannah Klein, best run of the season so far in just her second start, and will finally be getting scored points after not getting any points during Daytona. Jonathan Zorline with a great run in the 4th position. Didn't really talk much about him tonight. And Dylan Poteet, in just his second start of the season, gets a phenomenal 5th place run. Defending series champion Scott Groverston running like how he feels he should be running as he gets a 6th place finish. Melissa Alexander, solid run in the 7th spot. Jessica Sheldon, great run in 8th. Jordan Lopez, just like Hannah Klein, the only other driver that didn't get any points heading into this race, finally going to score big, finishing 9th. And then Cole Deaver rounding out the top 10 and 10th. Then there is the rest of your top 20, your top 30, and then the bottom 5 for this week were Daniel Bouchard, Zachary Fitzwater's bad luck continues, Jesse Turner, Quentin Moore, and Lisa Nelson. So that does it for our coverage here tonight at Darlington Raceway. Next time we meet, Monday night at Atlanta for the Golden Corral 500. But until then, here is Matt McIntyre's victory burnout and the point standings heading into Atlanta. And this is Levi McIntyre signing off.